hour. We've got all the top stories coming your way. Let's begin with a glimpse of what to expect over the next 60 minutes. Our top focus here on Super 6 is going to be to get you a series of reality checks from the city of Chennai. We started it off yesterday and seeing the overwhelming response that we've gotten from Chennaiites who have sought for us to do more reality checks across the city, we've decided to follow it up with part 2 of our reality check, where we give you a sense of how our politicians, how superstars live in the very same city, and in the same situation, their roads are perfect versus potholes for every other average Chennaiite. We're saying this is the tale of two Chennais, and that ground report is coming your way. That's our top focus here on Super 6. Also, coming up on the show, we'll tell you about the big controversy surrounding Sarfaraz Khan's exclusion. There's a lot of chatter on social media that's extremely unfair, but amid that, a whole lot of politics as well, because you've got Congress's Shama Mohammed linking the snub, the exclusion, to his religion. We'll be getting you all the details of that, the politics of it, but also from a cricketer angle, why the decision was taken. I'm Akshita, Nandagopal. Let's begin with the top 10 stories. We're tracking this up. RJD's big push to consolidate women votes in Bihar. Tejaswi Yadav promises government jobs and 30,000 rupees as monthly salary for Jivika Didis if his party comes to power in the upcoming elections. Congress national spokesperson Shama Mohammed has accused the head coach of the Indian national cricket team, Gautam Gambhir, and selectors of a religion bias. Criticised the non-selection of Sarfaraz Khan for senior national team assignments. UP Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath has raked up halal certification and flagged the issue of political Islam. Addressing an event in Gorakhpur to mark the RSS's centenary celebrations, Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath stated that ancestors waged major struggles against what he referred to as political Islam. After ACC and the PCB chief Mohsin Naqvi refuses to hand over the Asia Cup trophy to India, sources inform India Today that the BCCI is set to escalate and take up the matter during the ICC meet next month. Earlier, Naqvi responded to BCCI and asked them to come collect the trophy from the ACC headquarters in Dubai, which the BCCI has rejected. National capital remains under a blanket of thick smog. The political fight continues to intensify. And the blame game, of course, after Delhi's Environment Minister Manjinder Singh Sirsa accused AAP of defaming Diwali by forcing farmers to burn stubble to increase pollution levels. AAP has hit back at the BJP, saying that this kind of politics is unfortunate over air quality. Let's show you the first images that's on your screens there of fugitive Mehul Choksi's cell inside Mumbai's Arthur Road jail. India submitted these photos to Belgian authorities to counter his claims about poor prison conditions in India. The Belgian court also said that Choksi failed to produce any evidence suggesting that he would face torture or unfair trial or denial of medical care in India. Those are his allegations. Day after meeting with Karnataka Chief Minister Siddaramaiah and Deputy Chief Minister D.K. Shivkumar, Biocon Chief Kiran Mazumdar-Shaw faced heavy criticism once again online. And Shaw's chosen to respond to her trolls, firmly asserting that her deep connection to Bengaluru and Karnataka is intact. She says she was born, raised and has spent 7 decades of her life in the city. Unfortunate, really, that she's having to defend that. Meerut police arrested a local BJP leader after a purported video of him misbehaving with 2 men and making one of them rub his nose on a road went viral on social media. US President Donald Trump dialed Prime Minister Modi to personally wish him on Diwali. Prime Minister Modi used the occasion to importantly underscore India's firm stance against terrorism, subtly flagging New Delhi's discomfort with Washington's growing proximity to Pakistan. Now, reportedly, India and the United States are close, finally, to going ahead and formalizing a long-awaited trade agreement that could reduce US tariffs on Indian goods to around 15 to 16% from the current 50%. According to the report, the proposed agreement mainly focuses on the energy and agriculture sectors. Let me show you the tale of two Chennais on India Today. One Chennai of beautiful paved roads with not a single pothole, of perfect pedestrian pathways and definitely not a single pothole or any sort of problem in sight. This, I'd like to call it Singara Chennai. But wait, this isn't a Chennai for you and me. This is the Chennai that is reserved for netas, reserved for ministers, for politicians, for superstars. The Greenways roads where ministers reside, Cenotaph Road where Chief Minister Stalin resides, or even Neelankarai where superstar Vijay resides. Pristine, perfect. But like I said, it's reserved. So what do you and I get? Welcome to the other side of Chennai. And this is why I say there are two Chennais. In the other side of Chennai, there are no roads. Roads, what's that? You'll find some remnants of a road, mostly potholes in these stretches. Lots of water, of course. So you actually feel that the monsoon season is here. This is the Chennai reserved specially for you, the viewer. I've lived in Chennai. I've lived in Velachery, in Medavakkam, in Sholinganallur. And from my school days, college days, decades ago, we're still having the same conversation of basic facilities, of good infrastructure. This isn't about one part of Chennai. All the footage sent by my colleagues on ground highlight the exact same contrast. Every single area they visited, Pallikaranai, Medavakkam, Tenampet, Royapeta, you name it. It's the same story of broken roads and of broken promises. That, of course, is barring the Singara Chennai for politicians that I've referred to. And let's now get you an eye-opening ground report. We showed you part one of our reality check where we in fact covered two areas, Medavakkam as well as Pallikaranai. Now we went on to different parts of Chennai and found pretty much the same story of no roads, broken roads for residents of the city, and this at a time when monsoon has already arrived in Chennai. We reported on the pothole mess in Tenampet, for example, where immediately we had officials from the municipal corporation swooping in. And that led to a huge India Today impact. But the question is, how many locations do we cover and ensure there's action? Because clearly, it takes a national channel's focus, it takes attention and criticism for any sort of action in Chennai, or for that matter, I'd say anywhere in the country. Take a look at this reality check filed by Pramod Madhav and Anagha Keshav.
A few hours of heavy shower and this is what Chennai received. Waterlogging and broken roads. And a civic administration's assurances that hold no water. India Today went on the ground to show the sad state of affairs that people in Chennai experience during the daily commute. Large craters on the roads, vehicles risking bumpy roads and waterlogged potholes. Moments after the India Today report, Chennai civic body officials swung into action. Officials began repair work at the spot highlighted by India Today.
What we could see in the morning is that, of course, water has drained in many locations. However, there are sporadic spots like this. This is one of the important roads, Anasale, and the interesting fact is that, work is happening of bridge construction or metro in various areas. So there are such kind of localized areas. There are, because of bad roads and such, water stagnation is also visible. We're glad to report that India Today's story coverage on the monsoon rains have made impact on the ground as we speak, because there were two locations that we reported, one from the site and another we mentioned, both on Tenampet, and this is a site we said that this is a location that is being taken by the Chief Minister every day, but even here the roads were really bad and it has been there kind of fine for almost a week. But as we have spoken on this matter right now, work is in progress where people are here, they have brought in M-sand and they are covering the road, and also they have brought in a JCB through which they are leveling it. As we speak, this is being taken care of. This is a kind of preemptive work we were speaking about earlier. This work should have been done at least 3 days before, knowing that there's going to be heavy rainfall and the impact on the ground would be such kind.
India Today went a step further and exposed the shocking bias by civic administration when it comes to VVIPs and common citizens. These are images of lanes in front of residents of VVIPs. India Today visited the lane leading to TVK Chief Vijay's house and the lane opposite key politicians in Chennai, only to find swanky roads there. And these are the visuals of what Chennai's muckle get after paying taxes. Cratered roads with water filled in it.
We are at present, and this is a road where we have Tamilnaga Kazhagam leader Vijay and other prominent VIPs residents, and look at the way the roads have been maintained. Very less like water stagnation over here. Otherwise, the road is pretty neat, not that much potholes, and it has been kept very clean to make sure that the VIPs at this spot do not have any kind of concern. This is one road and we're just going to walk. Now, just to show a parallel road on this particular location, and to our left side, you could see what is happening. This is a road that is parallel to where Vijay stays, and unfortunately, this is a condition. You can see the vehicles, how difficult it is for them to travel. And what happened is that one of the concerned citizens from this particular area informed us that this particular road has been in this condition since October 2024.
This is Chennai's Greenways Road locality, with prominent politicians, including Deputy Chief Minister Udayanidhi Stalin's residence, is located. It shows the stark example of how VVIPs get special privileges of clean and swanky roads compared to common citizens.
This is one of the best parts of Chennai. You know why? Because this is where the real VIPs of the city live. Cabinet ministers, top businessmen, the real VIPs of the city live on this very stretch where we are reporting from, the Greenways Road. Just take a look at this road. Smooth, spotless, no cracks, no waterlogging. What an absolute joyride it is to drive on this very stretch of road. Now compare this with Pallikaranai, Medavakkam, Madipakam, Thuraipakam, the entire OMR stretch of road, Porur, Poonamalli, and there you have your answer.
Tall claims have been made by the Stalin government that it is fully prepared for the monsoon. Promises which now lie fully exposed. With Pramod Madhav and Anagha Keshav in Chennai, Bureau Report, India Today.
I want to bring in Pramod Madhav and Anagha Keshav. Both are joining us from Chennai. They've been out and about in the entire city today to get you some of those ground reports that you've seen. And congratulations to both of you, because Anagha and Pramod, based on your reports, finally Chennaiites are getting some relief. There's action right after you reported many of these locations, but that's what it takes, unfortunately. Reportage by us, authorities being exposed for any sort of action. And Pramod, the monsoon's already kicked in. These steps ideally should have been done months ago in preparation for this very time.
It actually is, Akshita. And just like you mentioned, these are the hot spots which, we very well know this is going to happen preemptively. Imagine if we know this, authorities will very well know, because they are on the ground 24/7 and localized spots. And for just 2 days, we were able to find so many spots like this. And we could actually give a contrast between how the roads for Netas and VIPs are. If the authorities can maintain it in that condition, how come these roads are not being done so? In fact, the locations at Tenampet is a part, it actually is being used by the Chief Minister regularly when he goes to his home from the party headquarters, and that was the condition. And after we reported, because we saw that the commuters were struggling to move through that part, it was sorted out. Definitely, authorities have all the mechanism and such, but why they are not acting, that is something we are still trying to find an answer to, Akshita.
Anagha, what did you see? You visited so many of these locations. I remember your report particularly where you tried to ride a bike and struggled through a road that was filled with potholes. There was barely any road, honestly, in that particular stretch. But was this a situation in just some pockets of Chennai, or is this across the city? Because, this is no longer about low-lying areas. This is basic roads infrastructure that's missing.
Well, Akshita, this is not just in the outskirts of Chennai or in the constituencies that have recently been included under GCC's limits. In fact, this unfortunate state of affairs is persistent throughout the city. And the prime example was how India Today reported this morning outside the iconic Satyam Theatre, which falls under Royapeta. Imagine a prime area as famous as Satyam Theatre, just outside that. If that was the big crater that was found there, just imagine the condition in cities' outskirts. It's not just in the city's outskirts or some pockets of the city, but potholes are persistent throughout the city. The city's civic administration has slept throughout the sunny days, and now that monsoon has finally arrived, now that there's so much backlash on social media, they are trying to do some patchwork, trying to put some M-sand, some jelly, some tar stones, trying to do some kind of patchwork. But remember, monsoon is here. It is going to rain every every single day from today onwards, and every single effort, every single patchwork effort that the government tries to put in is just going to go in vain. Because from today until February, you can't really expect sunny days to come. The government should have acted much earlier, and no amount of patchwork that they try to do now is not going to solve anything.
Okay, Anagha and Pramod, thanks very much for joining us. Great work, of course, with the reports that you filed. Part 3 of that reality check is, in fact, something we promised to air tomorrow, where Pramod and Anagha will get you more reports that give you a sense of what the situation is in different parts of Chennai. This, unfortunately, is the need of the hour, because we're hoping that with these reports, we finally wake up the authorities to what the situation is in different parts of Chennai. But I'd like to bring in on this broadcast voices from the city of Chennai. These are Chennaiites who are joining us here on India Today to tell what they feel about what's happening in the city right now. Kasturi Shankar is joining us on this broadcast. She's an actor joining us from Chennai. We have Carrie Edwards, voice artist, actor, a very popular RJ also. Lata Srinivasan, film critic. All of you, of course, are veteran Chennaiites, if I may call you that. Carrie, I'd like to begin with you. Are you disappointed looking at these images of Chennai, or Singara Chennai as many call it? Or, is this something that's become run of the mill that every year we see?
Well, I'd like to say that I'm disappointed, but the sad truth is that every time things like this happen, it kind of just fulfills our expectations. I think we've come to have incredibly low expectations of authorities, especially with regard to roads and electricity and things like that. So, yeah, sadly, while I would like to be disappointed, the truth is that my
It's
what's
kind
the
of,
word I'm
it's
looking for?
normalized.
Well, it's normalized to a point now that, unless there's a massive hole in a road, no one's really considering that a big problem. It's just like, well, yeah, it's monsoon. And that's the sad truth of our existence, is that, this has been normalized to a point where it's really not good for anyone. It's not good for the for society. It's not good for the road users. It's not good for the government. There really are no winners.
But that's worrying. Lata, I'd like to bring you in on this. If we don't seek accountability, how can we really expect the government to kind of wake up from their slumber? And, I agree with Carrie that we've kind of normalized this kind of below par infrastructure, so much so that politicians also think, look, we don't need to give them anything.
No, Akshita, the problem is that year on year, citizens raise their voice. Year on year, the government says we're taking measures. We're fixing the civic and potholes. Even Chief Minister.
Okay, Lata, just hold that thought, please. I'm going to come back to you. I'm having a bit of a problem with your signal. That same question to you, Kasturi, on whether there's a lack of accountability that's sought from the citizen. Is that the issue, that politicians think they can get away with doing the bare minimum, or not even that, before a monsoon in a city like Chennai?
Here's the thing. I'm going to start with what Carrie just said about, unless there is a big hole in the road, Chennaiites will no longer be surprised about anything. I'm going to actually change that and say, unless there is actually a road instead of a hole, that's when Chennaiites will get surprised at this point, because we expect. It's we laugh out of frustration.
Yeah, but it's sad.
But it's not laughing matter. We expect, like you introduced me as a veteran Chennaiite. That's true. But right now, I live in Hyderabad, and I have done so for a while now. Why? Because in Hyderabad, you have water during the summer, and you don't have water during the monsoon. I literally am living here for what others would consider basic necessities. I think of it as a luxury. I'm able to escape to Hyderabad. It's like that. My house is in Poise Garden. I have an independent house in Poise Garden. It's a heritage home, which means it's older than the rest of the properties around it. Poise Garden, if you didn't know, for the unversed, it is the VVVIP area.
Yeah, Jayalalitha's residence is there. Rajnikant lives there.
And I want your reporters to go to Poise Garden today and see what is going on there.
We'll do that. Yep.
Yeah, because Udayanidhi doesn't live there, because even the councillors from our Tenampet area don't live there. So, because the people who are accountable for it don't live there, therefore, Post Garden actually gets stepmotherly treatment. And God forbid you have an older property where all the water from the road will come into our house, because everybody who is actually there is pumping water out of their premises. So the person who is not there is me. My house is closed. So where will the water go? We are all pumping it out. So
Yeah.
those who don't pump out, they are going to be floating. I just want to tell who is responsible for this. Yes, the government, but we no longer expect the government to answer any questions. 2 years ago, they said stormwater drain construction, 44,000 crores. How much? 4,000 crores. तो पिछले साल क्या हुआ? We don't know what happened to the 4,000 crores, but all the sewage water from everywhere was inside our houses. People were going in boats. So then we said, what happened to 4,000 crores? And the mayor of Chennai, Priya, she said, we didn't expect this kind of rain. Nobody can be prepared for this. We did everything and the stormwater drains are in place, but they have fallen short of this kind of unexpected rain. I have news for you. There's 2 days of rain. There's 2 days of rain so far.
And this is the beginning of the monsoon.
Yeah, it has rained for 2 days. Day before yesterday and yesterday. And already we are in such a deep hole. So now I'd like to ask the mayor of Chennai, what were you doing? You had 1 year to figure this out. Elections are round the corner. Don't you have any shame? Forget responsibility. Forget accountability. Sharam nahi aati. You don't have any shame. But we are also responsible. I asked Carrie. I asked Lata. Lata is a journalist. Carrie is a media person. Do you know who your councillors are? Do you know who is your
my question also is, you've highlighted something important here, Kasturi, that we're months away from an election. But Carrie, very often when Chennaites cast their vote, do we really look at the issues that matter, like infrastructure? Do we look at what has been done in my constituency? And should that be one of the biggest narratives then going into an election to ensure the change that we want?
I think it absolutely should be. But I also think that, Kasturi is completely right in saying that most of us, and this is from an entire cross-section of society, I think most of us, when we go into the polling booths to put in our votes, we're not really looking at what we would sadly call small ticket items, right?
Yeah.
We're looking at the top ministers. We're not looking at the people in charge of roads and the people in charge of power. And that's really what we should be doing, because the truth of the matter is, and I say this as gently as I can, whoever is at the top, it doesn't really make that much of a difference to the people's lives on a day-to-day basis, right?
Yeah.
But the people who, what we would consider the small ticket items in an election, those are the people that will significantly influence people's day-to-day life, right?
Yeah.
Yet somehow those are the people that we don't know. And I'm guilty of that too. I don't know who my councillor is. I mean, I would have to Google it to figure it out.
Have you ever tried though, Carrie? Like, if you've had an issue in your area, what do? Do you just keep quiet because you're like, this is just too long winding a process to figure?
I have a somewhat unique problem, which is that when you live in our country with my name, you very often find it impossible to vote. So usually, come voting time, what I am having to do is drive around the city, try to figure out where my name is to begin with. So going that extra step and trying to figure out who, is the person in charge of my constituency and things like that becomes incredibly difficult. Because even in the event that I can find the person, I will never get an appointment. I will never get to meet anybody relevant. They'll say things like, write us a letter. That's what I've gotten. Write us a letter. And I was confused. I thought I had gotten into a time machine and gone back to 1985. But, write us a letter. Who does that anymore? But apparently our government still functions like that.
It's perhaps an attempt just to kind of, divert, to ensure that they don't have to deal with the problem in the first place. But Kasturi, We've spoken about this. Every monsoon, unfortunately, we put the spotlight on the mess. You see some sort of cover up here and there, some action, some attempt to cover up the potholes. That's about it. What do you do? What is the solution here?
I think responsible media, this is the age of media and social media. You're talking about covering up potholes. Last year, believe it or not, I mean, you can't make up things like what I'm going to say to you. They actually put from the government side and from the, I want to say from, I want to say a huge TV channel, which was showing this on loop, was showing a bridge, showing a picture of a bridge and saying, look, no water. Look, mom, no water. They were showing an actual flyover bridge, okay? And then they were showing places which pictures were taken 3 days later and 3 days before the rains. And they were showing those pictures. And as you yourself rightly pointed out, they were showing pictures of Cenotaph Road, Chittaranjan Road, Gopalpuram. Those roads are famous for being residences of the chief minister and the deputy chief minister. Those roads were on TV and people were given to believe that all of Chennai is looking like that. And on social media, we could find the real situation. People were throwing pictures of their own places and literally to each his own. Everybody was helping each other. At least the humanity of Chennai and the resilience of Chennai comes out in these kind of situations. So everybody was helping each other. Nobody was really expecting even a phone call to be taken. As Carrie says, you can call everyone. You can go sit in front of the councillors' houses. Aapko koi milne wala hi nahi hai. It's not going to happen. So nobody expects that anymore. But I say, make it count where it counts. I'm sorry that you can't vote as of now, Carrie. We will fix that before the elections. Make it count. Let's make noise. Congratulations and salute to India today, because what you've done today is so important.
No, and
While everybody is talking about bigger pictures.
Can I just say here that, what prompted this, Kasturi, and I'll be honest here, that what prompted us to actually pick this up and this campaign is Chennaiites taking to social media, what you're referring to, and the organic movement that we saw on social media where so many people were putting out videos from the locality and saying, look at what's happening. And I think that's what prompted us to speak. And I hope many others will join that, because I think that this is a sustained campaign. It's not going to be, one show, two shows with that understanding what's happened to Chennai. No, because this is just the beginning of the monsoon. I'm going to dig also tomorrow into the corruption, because I think that's a big factor in what's led to the current plight of Chennai. So hopefully we'll be able to get answers on that as well. But Carrie, Kasturi, yeah.
No, can we just a request on air? Can I ask people who approach me for help, can they come to your reporters in Chennai? Can we
100%.
do that? Because
100%. We're going to get our reporters to also get in touch with you so we can line that up, because we're going to follow this up. We want Chennaiites to speak out. We want their voice to be heard, and hopefully we'll see the change we need to see, and it's not going to be a terrible monsoon where people aren't sitting and enjoying the monsoon anymore. They are worrying about how to get out of their homes. But Carrie, Kasturi, thank you very much for your time, for joining us here on India Today. Thank you. We're going to continue speaking about this and about the situation in Chennai, but we want you to join our campaign. Tell us what's the current situation in Chennai. We're calling it Sink City Chennai, because unfortunately that's the reality of what's happening in the city. This is a sustained campaign that we will continue over the next many days. So we want you, Chennaiite, to join us in this effort to expose what's the situation in different parts of the city. We've attached, and I'm showing right now a URL, a link on our city. We've attached, and I'm showing right now a URL, a link on our screens. It's an interactive link. You click on that particular in your locality. The idea of doing this is to ensure we cover every part of Chennai. Virtually impossible for us to do that, so we're inviting all of you to join us in this campaign for change, because we recognize the need to build this up further and ensure that we truly, in its truest sense, give a reality check to the authorities. The monsoon has kicked off and we're seeing Chennai sinking. We're not going to allow